In this video, we're going to show you how to record a new sales contact. So what we do is we go over here to the left side, we go to customers, we go to sales and prospects, and then we click on search and, well, actually I clicked on search and edit. You probably should click instead probably on add. So we're going to click on add, and then what we do is we fill in the information, and I'm going to be right back. I'm going to just fill this in and come right back. Just as a heads up, as soon as I filled in the first name, the last name, the city, I'm sorry, the city's down here, the street, the city, the state, the zip code, and put in the United States, it automatically geolocates the customer or the potential customer to where that location is. And as you can see, I can see that customer right there. So I'm going to go ahead and finish filling in this information, and then I'll come back and we'll show you what to do next. So what I've done is I went ahead and filled in the rest of this information. Things that absolutely have to go in there, for example, are email addresses, because the program sends a lot of automated communications with your customers, and so it's real important to have that email address. This over here, this is just a contact phone number. This down here is a cell phone. In my case, they're both are the same. And then I identified that this particular customer is a word of mouth. Now, all of these referral sources, you can add or subtract from these referral sources at your leisure. And then down here, because this is just potentially a new customer, I just went ahead and identified this as a prospect. So I'll go down to the bottom, and I'll save this. It'll give me a nice little notification. It says it's saved. The contact is saved. Goodness, can't talk this morning. But over here on the right-hand side, now what we want to do is see whether or not we can provide service to this customer. As you can see, it put the customer about where we expected the customer to land. Well, if you know this part of the world, but I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and you can actually see the guy's house. What I'm going to do is go over here to the left-hand side. I'm going to say edit using the map. So I'm going to edit using the map. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the hybrid view. Zoom in here just a tad, and I'm just going to put this on somebody's house. We'll just pick somebody's house. This guy right here looks like he needs internet. And so I'll put it on that guy's house, and then I'll come over here and click when done, and so I'm going to click when done. And then the next thing I'm going to do, just because I know it's coming, I'm going to put that on streets again. I'm going to qualify this guy. I'm going to say with a tripod and a 10-foot pole on top of this guy's house, I probably can get 40 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and do the qualification. Now notice over here on the right, it shows me which access points are actually capable of providing service to that location. There's an access point that's sitting on this tower, and you can see this is the orientation of that access point. There's an access point on this tower, and it's that purple, well, kind of a light purple coverage. And then there's an access point over here on this one as well, and that's kind of a different color brown. If you hit go again, it'll actually change those colors if you get having trouble seeing them or whatever the case might be. And then underneath here, what we get is we get some really cool stuff. This shows us this is the access point. Over the access point in the tower over here on the left-hand side, and then over here on the right-hand side is the customer's house. The red line is the line of sight between the tower and the customer's house. The blue line is the first Fresnel zone. And then underneath that, you can see that we have actually some ground clutter. So in this case, there are a variety of different kinds of ground clutter potentially interfering with the line of sight for that location. And then underneath that is, of course, the ground terrain. So if I look at these, this guy might be able to get service off of this particular location. That's DE05, and DE05 is coming out of here. So there's probably a good chance that I could provide service to this guy. So what I would do is I would go ahead and save this contact. Always save the contact even after you finish doing this kind of stuff. And that way you can keep a history. Even if the customer doesn't turn into, this prospective customer doesn't turn into a customer, you always have a history of someone that called. And if in the future you can't provide service to this customer now, but in the future if you put up a tower close to this, you can actually pull up a screen that shows you all of the sales contacts that had failed, and it would show you all of the customers now at that point that you could provide service to with a new tower. So, well, that's it. Thank you much. Bye.